All right, it is my pleasure, as well as I know I speak for Peter when I say this, to have an opportunity to speak to Franchon Crews-Dezurn. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm great. I'm the WBO champion for now. Hopefully, in the future, I'll be the WBC champion.
So they didn't reinstate you, huh?
It's okay. It's quarantine.
So let me ask you about that then. So the fight was considered what? A no decision, no contest? How did they technically deem that fight with everything considered now?
Well, per the Texas Commission, on a few on a few occasions, it's a no contest. So
Right.
it didn't happen.
Okay, because I thought
That's where they're standing now. From my understanding, Jimenez has an appeal with the Texas Commission, so I don't know.
so. Did something kind of go back and forth? Because I thought I saw an interview that you did where they were talking about maybe you had been reinstated as the champion. So has it been a bit of a roller coaster with this, or how?
It's very traumatic and very stressful. The WBO reinstated me. I think it was like February 20th, I think,
Okay.
and reinstated me as the champion. But the WBC just put out like a statement saying that, long story short, the title was vacant. They have an ongoing investigation with her. What I can do is fight the next top ranked person for my belt. But if Jimenez is found not guilty, she can just jump back in the rankings and take the belt from me.
But didn't she also, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't she fail a drug test?
She fell too.
Right. So, I mean, look, I love Mauricio Suleiman, big fan of the WBC, but what am I missing here? I mean, there's no margin of error whether you take a painkiller or performance enhancing drugs. I mean, the WBC is very clear cut. They showed it with Canelo. So, even if you eat tainted meat. So, like, what are we missing here in this case?
What they're saying is that it's an appeal process. The example they continue to use is, if it was a murder, you don't just go to jail. You have a right to a trial. And basically, they're giving Jimenez her due process, which I'm fine. Due process or not, the facts are still the facts. But it's just like, okay.
I mean, you've handled this entire situation with class, like from January 11th on. You've been nothing but class. And and the way that you even express, let's be patient, let's just let everything play out. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that was basically your sentiment. I mean, you could have been a lot more aggressive and a lot more angry, but you were professional. And you're rightfully so still a world champion. So let me ask you this: who is next in line in the WBC world ratings?
Alicia Napoleon is.
Who's coming off a loss? Right. Who's coming off a loss the night before you fought? Well, I'm just saying, I was at that fight, and I was talking to Brian about it. I was at that fight in Atlantic City. So I was at that fight when she fought Eileen. How do you say it? Is it Cederos or Cederos? How does she say her last name? Do you even know?
I think
Cederos. That was the best fight of the night. Like, no offense to Claressa Shields, but that fight against Napoleon, in my opinion, of the entire card, was the most exciting fight of the night. You have a unified champion with the WBA and IBF title. How do you feel about that type of matchup?
Oh, I'll beat both of their asses. No offense. Like, I love Alicia and respect to Cederos, but I mean, one side of me is like, I'm still processing. Franchon Crews-Dezurn is processing like what happened January 11th and dealing with that. But the heavy hit diva, she on some stuff now. Like, I'll go back to the old me. I'll run through her.
One of the things that I know has to be frustrating, and I'd had an opportunity to speak to Clarissa about this as well, is how, for you as being someone who is still, I would consider a pioneer for women's boxing, you're trying to essentially draw this, the more eyes to your sport on a day-to-day basis. And then to have already established yourself with a certain level of excellence, and then to have like this situation happen with Jimenez that kind of throws a monkey wrench and stuff. Can you talk a little bit about maybe how that might be frustrating, or how,
Well, my husband is also a professional boxer. His name's Crews-Dezurn Jr.
Mhm.
And he's a boxing fanatic. Like, he makes me sit down and study. He loves the game. Like, boxing's his first love. I'm his second. I'm getting up there though. But we always have conversations about like legacy and what do we want to do and leave when we finish. Because I mean, to be honest, boxing it seems like a long time, but you have a short window, and once you leave the sport, you're not the same as when you started. So on top of, of course, winning, I want to make sure my legacy is intact. And for something like that to happen, now my name isn't recognized in the book as the WBC world champion, when it's rightfully my title. Even on a decision, the scorecards, I should have won. I would have took a draw, but I should have won the fight. It's just like I don't like not being in control, because I'm a firm believer in, you are in control. You create your reality, and
Mhm.
things may come your way, but it's up to you to manifest and change those things. And I feel like my hands are tied behind my back. They're playing with my life, playing with my career, playing with my health and everything. So it's definitely frustrating, but I just trust and hope that everything works out. My attorneys are working, and, hopefully the process that the WBC is following, the right thing is done.
Mhm. Do you feel like, I know the drug test was an issue, and the two failed drug tests, but do you feel that there's any other potential like controversy with the fight with Jimenez? Is there any other aspect of this that is also being investigated beyond banned substance?
Yeah, Brian, you're just like tap dancing around it, right?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, say what you gotta say.
because
I mean, you're just like it's like
because
tap dancing around
I'm
it.
gonna be honest
Hey,
with
is there
you.
anything else we could maybe
Because I'm gonna be
talk
honest with you,
about?
I'm watching this fight. Watched it live, right? And I'm like, something's different here. And
I got
you're
you. I got
and
you.
you're in there.
But Franchon said this, but she said the same thing after the fight in a very classy way. She
Right,
said
and you're
something's
in
different here.
there. So
So okay. From my understanding, she's born a female. I would hope that all the commissions involved, the WBC, WBO, Golden Boy, Texas, they would never put me at that much risk to have me actually fight a man. Like, you have a room full of professionals. We
Mhm.
should get through to that. And
Mhm.
BADA is very thorough. They watch you squat and cough and pee and do everything. So they're there.
Mm-hmm.
What she tested positive for is definitely a substance that can start you to transition to something else.
Mhm.
It's a synthetic testosterone. It's something that's used in horses. It's something that will give you extraordinary stamina, build muscle, cut fat. So I mean, what she's taken, what she took definitely coincides with why her physique and her voice and those things happen. Those are side effects. So that's just facts. I'm not throwing shade. That's just
Right.
facts. Google
Yeah.
Stanzalo, and it will explain a lot of why she, had that appearance.
Okay, fair enough. So let's do this. Let's talk about the fact that you brought up the word legacy. Okay, you're a world-class fighter. You are a world champion, and we're in this quarantine. There's a lot of uncertainty, but eventually we're going to get back to fighting. Eventually, you're going to get back in the ring. And is that unification what you want right away, or is Golden Boy talking about wanting to make a rematch if for some miraculous reason Jimenez is cleared, which I don't see being the case? I mean, you have to show some pretty convincing data or something, evidence to be able to get out of 2 failed drug tests. So let's say that that's not even on the table. Has there been any talks about you fighting Napoleon or Cedarus, and then, you know, if you fight Cedarus, really unifying, you know, or what would your next plan be?
Well, things were going crazy like when the WBC announced it, but definitely reached out to Golden Boy right away and told him what I wanted to do. I would love to, you know, I have 3 options, of course, because of the type of fight I just had. And people have never really seen me at my best. If you look at the last couple of rounds, I have boxing ability. Everybody thinks, oh, she just got a right hand. She's wild. I'm very calculated what I do. I have so many facets to my style. I just want to be able to be in a situation where I don't have to fight somebody juiced up on steroids, or I don't have to take a fight in 2 weeks notice. You know what I mean? So I can go that route, but I'm chasing greatness. And of course I would love a fight with Cedarus, especially have it built up so it could have the great momentum, because it would be a historic fight for me to have opportunity to be a 3-time world champ, or, you know, get my WBC title back. I'll be undisputed. So
Right.
I stepped on the scene taking risk. I stepped on the scene, you know, going for what I know. So that's definitely not out the question. Alicia, if I wanted the WBC, if I had to fight for it, if I wanted it, that's a fight I tried to get before I was even a world champion. But yeah, I just want to go get what I want to get. But I do want to, you know, showcase for my fans if that's an option. But I reached out to Golden Boy. Hopefully when everything gets closer to opening, we'll have more conversations. But we're just trying to maintain through quarantine.
So if the opportunity presented itself down the road, talking from a legacy standpoint, would you want an opportunity to avenge your only loss?
Oh, well, who? Clarissa?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh yeah. That's something I feel like, because a lot of people don't get her gears going. Like, you'll hear Clarissa go off. It's a couple people, you know, she's always ready and up for a challenge.
Mhm.
But I feel like when you say us, I feel like that's more exciting. To me it is, like, because I'm like, damn, what can I push myself? You know what I'm saying? But yes, I think that's something for the fans. That's definitely a legacy fight. When I think of legacy, I think of like Ali and Frazier, and how many times Serena and Venus played each other. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely want to do that before I retire.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because I think that you two absolutely have the most star power in the region, in the weight region. Everybody else is just kind of, they're good fighters, and they're people that are there for you guys to seemingly blast through, so that ultimately you guys can have that rematch.
People will know if and when that fight happens that it's real. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
they will know it's real, especially like her journey, my journey,
Mm-hmm.
like what happened last month in January. Like, people will know it's real. It's not something that's made up to be bigger than what it is. Like I'm be honest, when her and Christina Hammer fought, that was a beautiful build up. They had Showtime, everything,
Right.
but Hammer got rolled over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know me, unless you knock me out, I'm gonna be in there fighting. You know what I'm saying? It's not many people can say they whipped my ass. Even the girl on steroids, she couldn't knock me out, and I was hurt. So, you know, when me and Clarissa fight, if and when, it's gonna be lit, and people are gonna love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it would be a fight that would have a great build. I do think that it would benefit from, you know, you having 2 more wins, Clarissa maybe having 2 more wins. There's a lot of talk about Clarissa and Layla Ali. I'm interested to figure out or hear what you think about that, and how you think that helps your overall division, if it does at all.
What with Clarissa or what?
With Clarissa and Layla Ali, like, if that, like, because there's been some talk about that. What is do you look at that as like a real fight, or is that kind of like something that more is irritating to even talk about?
Well, I mean, I work with one of the legendary boxers, Bernard Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
basically just retired 3 years ago at like 52 or 53 years old.
Right.
So, you know, it's on Layla. Like, she needs to back up all she's talking. I'm an alpha female. Like, I'm respectful, but if she was talking that stuff to me, I'd be like, put up or shut up. The same way Clarissa is. Like, we understand you're a foremother. You came before us. You did these amazing things, but the competition wasn't that steep, right? But you can't come hating on us because we doing our thing right now. You can't come hating on Clarissa because she's done things nobody, male or female, has done. So it's like, all right, is your bite as big as your bark? That's how I feel. Like, I'm not one to do a whole bunch of this. Like, if you want to do it, let's do it. Don't sit here and talk about what it coulda, shoulda. It's people who gonna put the money up. Shut her up. Period.
Yeah.
So are you in Maryland right now? Where are you at right now?
I'm in Maryland. So
what have you been doing to stay in shape? I mean, what are you and your husband doing to just?
Well, what I've been doing is I love it. Actually, I've been being creative. I'm manifesting my next fight, so I've been working on my next boxing uniform. As you know, I design all of my boxing apparel.
That entrance was the bomb too.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I got to tell you, that entrance was the bomb to the Jimenez fight
on January 10th. Yeah, that was great. Or January 11th. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that was amazing. I had girls from Baltimore, my sister-in-law, a guy from Philly. I put a lot of thought into it. I actually have a mini documentary I have to finish that's, showing like some of the behind the scenes from that whole fight. Just sewing, get my business plans together, trying to finish school because I need to get this degree before the year is out, and just trying to stay motivated. Like, even though you're a champion, you're a boxer, I've been doing this for my whole adult life. This is out of the norm. Like, this isn't my routine, so it's kind of hard to adjust and just stay motivated. I'm grateful because my husband's a boxer, so we can, keep each other on point. But I think once things start opening up, I'm going to reach for more opportunities, like stretching out to the entertainment world, stretching out to more bigger platforms.
Well,
but I'm just staying busy and resting.
Yes, and it's great to see you staying active. It's great to see you staying doing what you can do to stay in shape. I appreciate you taking your time to speak to us today, and I'm hoping that justice is done on the WBC side, because I think it's pretty clear the person who deserves to still be wearing that championship belt and still calling themselves a champion, and it's you. So, like I said, we appreciate you.
I'm not going to bash. My whole campaign isn't bashing, but right is right, wrong is wrong. I actually just shot a PSA for them because at the end of the day, my responsibility as a champion is to encourage my fans, encourage people, and to show, like, what, people can try to break you down. People can try to, throw dirt in your name. It's up to you to stand tall and be a bigger person, because what's meant to be is going to be. So I just want to stay focused on the positive things. The negative things are going to come and go, but I'm trying to make the positive things stay.
Absolutely.
Well, look, you definitely present yourself as a champion. I mean, you're all class. Like you said, alpha female in the ring. You bring in a nice fashion statement as well. Your entrances. I mean, everything that you have going on right now at this stage of your career has been fantastic. And if you could end up unifying those titles, that could be like a cherry on top.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Again,
my little babies in the future, like my mom and dad both.
For sure. Well, like I said, we definitely appreciate having you on, and we hope to get an opportunity to speak to you again.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Franchon. Have a good one.